right, friends, hi. It looks like I'm live, but I always like to wait until I see it actually go live on the site. There we go. Came up on my phone first. And there we are. Get these muted so that I don't hear everything. All right. Well, hi, friends. Welcome to Tuesday Card Making Live. I'm Leah. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been on, so I'm excited to be here today. Looks like we have people joining us already, so that's exciting. I'm so glad you guys could join live today as well. Super excited to see you. Yes, I'm in a tank top. No, it's not warm in Minnesota. It's just the joy of being in my 40s. Apparently, I'm just hot all of the time. So what I'm wearing has no bearing on the weather outside. At some point, you will see somebody moderating underneath Pinkfresh studio name. Today is actually Greenery moderating. Heather is not available today. So it is me and Greenery. So we're happy to be here with you guys today. Hi, guys. So glad a bunch of you are joining on. Okay. So just waiting for Greenery to jump on, kind of looking for her. But while we wait for her, a couple things to go over. First things first, if you are new, which I just saw Amy, it looks like Amy's first time here from Hawaii. Welcome. We're so glad that you guys found us. If you are new here today, welcome. We're so happy you're here. Once I get creating, I don't see as many of the comments come through. So I just want to give a big blanket hello. Welcome to everybody, whether you're new or you've been joining in our lives for years now. So we're happy that you're here. Couple things before we get going, especially if you're new, we give away a $15 gift card code at the end of every live. And the way to gain entries into that giveaway is to I need to make sure I have it on live chat. There we go. Got to fix that. Sorry, lost my train of thought there for a second. So first things first, what we would love for you guys to do is to share this. So underneath the video somewhere, there's a button that says share with a little arrow button. So go ahead and share that somewhere. You can share that in an email with crafty friends. You can share it to your personal Facebook page. You can share it in your Instagram stories. And finally, you can share it in a Facebook crafty group as well, as long as the rules allow for that. There are some that don't allow that. I'm just going to ping Greenery real quick. Sorry, guys. Okay, just pinging her real quick. So hopefully she'll jump on here in just a moment. So share and then come back here in the comments and let us know you shared. And that is an extra entry into the giveaway. Other than that, all you have to do is currently what you're already doing. Chat with me, chat with others, the live chat. All comments are entries into the giveaway for the $15 gift card code. So, as I mentioned, once I flip this around and I get creating, I don't see as many of the comments, so I will likely miss questions as they go by. Greenery should be here momentarily, and she will answer a lot of things that I miss. And then, of course, if you know the answer, feel free to share that as well. So just chat with us, hang out with us. That's what this is all about. Now, finally, this isn't for a giveaway or anything, but we would love for you to give this video a thumbs up. What that does is it helps the reach of the video, both now and upon replay, so that hopefully we can find other crafters, people maybe looking to start crafting, all of those things. So it just helps the reach of this video, both now and on the replay. So I am using the Tuberose stamp, stencil, and die today. It is a 6-piece stencil set, so we're going to have to get going if I'm not going to go over too much. So give me a second. We're going to transition down to my desktop view, and we'll get going. Okay, there's that. Let's turn this setting off. Okay, and I see greenery here now. So moderator in place, and we can get going here. I'm just waiting for YouTube to catch up with me a little bit to make sure everything looks a-okay. All right, like I mentioned, we are going to be using Tuberose stamp, stencil, and die set here today. So these are a really lovely stamp set. They have a coordinating washi tape, of course. I'm not using that today. I used it for my release project. So I thought I would get the chance to use the stamp, stencils, and die today instead. So we're gonna stamp the flowers. Actually, we're gonna heat emboss the flowers, of course. And then we're gonna use it together. And I think I've got some real fresh, springy colors that you are going to love seeing. I see that Kathleen joined on today. Hey there, glad you could make it. All right, so let's go ahead and get going. I will mention it is kind of dark and stormy here, so my light might be a little darker than normal today. There's not much I can do about that. So if it's just a little bit darker, it's just pretty dreary. I think we might have a storm coming in. So I'm doing my best with the light here. All right, so because this is one of those larger stamps, I am going to bring out my Misty hack that I basically just keep in place like this all of the time. So this is standard Misty, and it's taped to a glass mat. And this allows me to use the lid to stamp that larger stamp that doesn't quite fit into the inside of the inside of the Misty form. Now you might be able to angle it in there. That would totally work fine as well. That's, kind of up to you, personal preference. I really like this method for saving on cardstock, because you do have to have a bigger piece of cardstock if you do the angled option. So I am going to go ahead and get my cardstock taped down to the glass mat first thing, so that it won't move on me when we're stamping. And then let's go ahead and grab this big stamp. So we have our big stamp now. And a friend of mine could use this at a little crafty weekend the other day. So my stamp has been removed. But if you're first removing these new stamps, my suggestion is to peel the acetate away from the stamp versus the other way around. We have a lot of working pieces with our products, so we don't want them to stretch or warp. So I just try to do what I can to keep the stamp as in perfect condition as possible. Glad you guys are excited about getting to see Tuberose in action. It's probably, I think, maybe my favorite from this past release. I don't know for sure. I really love them all. The Dahlia is right up there as well. But we haven't featured the Tuberose in a live yet, so I thought it would be kind of perfect for today. And of course, as I mentioned, I am going to heat emboss. So let's go ahead and get our cardstock prep. I see that, where did it go? Emily asked for a live using rainbow daisies. So there is one coming up on Thursday for scrapbooking. Natalie will be using the rainbow daisies, and we will plan on a card one hopefully in the near future. Okay, so if you want to see it used for scrapbooking, come join us on Thursday at noon. Okay. Now let's go ahead. I'm going to just ink up the stamp. I think my friend used black ink on it. So if you see a little bit of black outline when I stamp these, not a big deal. It's going to be covered up by embossing powder, so I'm not very worried about that at all. But you might see just a little bit of trace amounts of that black ink from it being used previously. And I'm a notoriously light stamper, so I will probably stamp this set a few times to make sure I'm getting a good impression. And you can absolutely use the larger Memory Misty to do these if you have one. Memory Misties hit my camera when the lid does. They're just a little bit too big. So for me, I like this hack just because it fits a little bit better on my desk space for me, but you absolutely can use a larger stamping platforms as well. Absolutely a perfect option for this. Okay. Let's see. I think that's actually pretty good, but I'm going to just stamp it one more time. Make sure it's not moving on me there. Okay. Ooh, I feel like the lid kind of moved, so hopefully that didn't halo on me. I don't think it did. I think we're safe. I might know better once I get the embossing powder on there, but for now, let's just call that good. So I'm going to grab these pieces of tape and I'm going to move this out of my way just so that we have a little bit more room to work with. All right, let's grab that. And grab some embossing powder. I'm just using my everyday go-to gold today, Brutus Monroe Gilded embossing powder. And we're just going to get it covered in some embossing powder here. Oops. And of course, I just made a huge mess. I do notice that the embossing powder sticks to where you had that tape. Pretty easy to remove though. As you can see, I made a huge mess with my embossing powder. I'm gonna have to clean that up here momentarily. I think I took on tried to cover too much in one sitting, and I made a big, huge mess. All right. All right, I think that looks pretty good. Give this one over here a little additional. Okay. All right, pardon me for a second while I clean up my mess. And you know what? I remembered the other day, I grabbed a Swiffer, put it in my room for these occasions. So that was super helpful to get my big old mess. Okay, look at that. Okay, I'm going to heat set here just a moment. So when I heat set, I think I think Zoom typically mutes it. So if it goes silent, that is why. right, that is a big one, isn't it? And I think it's Haley. So if you hear that, sorry, friends, but that's what it is. So that was some marathon heat embossing there. It's going to give us these gorgeous flowers. We're going to get to ink blending them here shortly, and it's going to be fantastic. All right, so I just want to make sure that the embossing is set. Don't want to accidentally ruin it. I think we're good. And then I am just going to wipe off any excess powder that might be on anything here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get prepped, get our surface ready for ink blending, all of that fun stuff. And it is dropping or hailing quite ferociously now and loudly. So I'm hoping it doesn't translate into the sound as well, but I love spring in Minnesota. We had a blizzard on Saturday night. And then it was like 50 degrees on Sunday, and now it's, well, who knows, it's lots of things. All right, let's make sure you can see all of image when I go to ink blend. This always looks darker on camera. It almost looks black, but I promise it's gold. And when we ink blend it, or excuse me, when I take photos, you'll see that the embossing is gold. Great, so let's go ahead and grab our stencils. So this is a 6-piece stencil, and I'm going to mention, actually have put these a little bit out of order. I'm starting at stencil 3 because I do prefer to ink blend the flowers first. So stencils 1 and 2, I put at the end, which is the greenery. So we are going to start at stencil number 3 for doing the ink blending. So I am actually going to be ink blending these in 3 different colors. So I'm going to go ahead. You probably won't get to see all of them on camera at the same time. And go ahead and put them on here. So we are going to ink blend in, but I am going to move them so I have a little bit here. We're going to be ink blending in Ocean Breeze, Peach Fuzz, and of course, Coral Reef. So when you are using the stencils, so as I mentioned, they're numbered in the upper left corner. And then you'll see they have these little alignment guides in each corner. Now the alignment guides are for when you're using the stencils by themselves. This is great for if you're new to Pinkfresh. If you've been with us for a while, you know this. We like to mention it just for anyone that's new. If you are using them with a stamped, heat embossed, or foiled image, you will just align them to the actual stamped images. So you will forgo those alignment guides and go ahead and align them to the stamped image. So that's what I'm doing here. These are big stencils. So I like to just take my time to make sure that I really get them aligned well. And so what you are going to notice here in the Tuberose set is that they are kind of, the way that the stencils are set up is we're kind of coloring in some color in the bunches, but maybe not necessarily the entire thing. I got that a little bit out of alignment when I was taping it down. So we are going to just align that one more time. There we go. Oh, very nice. Love to hear how much you guys love our stencils. So you'll notice we're kind of coloring in bunches. So this stencil set is going to allow me to do multicolors anyway with, okay, this is not wanting to stay stuck down. We may have to get new washi tape here because that is what is causing my layers to keep coming out of alignment here, and that is going to drive me batty. I may have to find some different tape. Here, let's keep that one. Let's grab some Post-it tape for safe measure. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to take all of the lids off, and then I'm going to grab my, actually I need this one. I'm going to grab my small brushes. These are our 1/2 inch blending brushes. Coordinate. This is my light pack for these colors. And I just think that these will help give me some, control while I do these. So we're going to start off with Ocean Breeze, and we're just going to pick and choose where we do them. So I'm going to start Ocean Breeze up here in this bigger piece. I don't actually even know how many of these pieces I'm going to end up using on my card. It may not be all of them, but I'm going to go ahead and ink blend all of them so that I have easy decisions to make on it, and it can I'll have lots of options. So that guy's going to be blue. I think we're going to do this guy in Ocean Breeze as well. And let's see. Ooh, this guy got out of alignment. Let me redo that. There we go. And then I think we'll do this one too for now. I may come back to the Ocean Breeze and do a couple more. For now, I think we're going to call that good. So up next, let's grab our brush for Peach Fuzz. And I think we're going to go 1/2 and 1/2 on this guy. I think we're going to do 1/2 Peach Fuzz, 1/2 Coral Reef. So I'm just going to blend in 1/2 on this guy here. And then let's do Peach Fuzz on here. I'm sorry, Maureen, I'm not completely sure what you're asking there. So I apologize. If you could maybe clarify for me, I would appreciate that so I can answer better. Let's see. Maybe this little guy can be. And then finally, let's actually do this guy 1/2 and 1/2 too. Okay. So then grab our Coral Reef. And let's get this 1/2 of this flower colored in. It's 1/2. Oh, I think I know what you mean, Maureen, now. Are you meaning the loops that I put on the back? They have never picked up ink blending ever. So I can say without a doubt that no, the tape loops on the back of my cardstock haven't ever caused any issues for ink blending. So now I fully understand more what you were asking me. Okay. So there we have stencil number 1 is finished. And look at how fun that is. So we are going to move on to stencil number 2. I'm keeping the same colors right now because we're still coloring in these flowers. So I'm going to get them lined up and we are going to do a bit more coloring on them. Right, Diane? I love that you can mix colors with our stencils. Oh, goodness, Leah. So easily as well. I think that it's possible my glass mat, even though I cleaned it right beforehand, with the fact that all of that embossing powder spilled on it, I think that may be the culprit here. Okay, so we up here on this guy have already colored 1/2 of it in Ocean Breeze. So I think I'm going to do the same thing as I did previously. And I'm going to do 1/2 of this guy in the Peach Fuzz. And then I'm going to do the other 1/2 in Coral Reef. Stop moving on me. Okay. Yeah, I typically ink one on 100-pound paper. So maybe there's a difference in that. Like I said, I've never had any issues with the tape moving on me at all. All right, this guy, we are also going to do in coral reef. So the first part of this flower is peach fuzz. So now we're adding some coral reef in there. Then I'm going to add coral reef here on this flower. And then finally, this one's already ocean breeze. So we're going to go back in with peach fuzz and finish this guy out. Okay. So there we have stencil number 4. And we've got more of our flowers colored in. And how pretty are these multicolored flowers? I just love them. I feel like, you know what? So we've got details here. Our next ones are details. However, I just actually noticed, I think stencil number 1 finishes out the flowers. So I am going to we're going to take a little go back. I'm probably going to jump back to stencil 1 a couple of times, but I want to finish out these flowers. I did not notice when I was prepping for this that stencil 1 had those on there. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to do stencil 1, but we are not going to do the greenery yet. I'm just going to work on finishing up the rest of the flowers here. So let's grab those. Get these nice and lined here. Okay, there we go. So let's see here. I am going to be a little wild, friends, and I am going to ink blend the coral reef to the top of the peach fuzz flowers. And then I am going to do peach fuzz as the top of the coral reef. And I'm using these small brushes. They really are letting me get in there and not really overlapping into that green. We'll come back to the green when it's time. I'm going to keep the blue flowers as is, but we're just going to get in here. So I'm just using the small brushes and making sure that I don't get into anywhere that I don't want to have the other colors. Okay. So then let's grab peach fuzz and let's keep going. So I'm going to do the same thing on this guy. I'm going to do peach fuzz with pink. This one I'm just going to keep the same. This one we'll just do an all peach fuzz. And then I'm going to switch over to coral reef. We're going to put a little coral reef at the top of the blue. Now, are these flowers realistic in real life? No, absolutely not. They don't have to be. I don't think that they have to be realistic. And I don't think you have to find them in nature. Okay. This guy, let's do. Ooh, stencil came out of alignment again on me. Let's get those back. And then here, we're going to do coral reef. And I am really, truly just doing whatever I please with these flowers. So that is stencil 1. Look at how fun those turned out. We'll come back to stencil 1 when we go to do the greenery, but I'm going to put it back in line. And then let's head back over to stencil 5. This is where we're going to switch colors. So let me get these initial colors out of the way here. We're going to just go up to the next step in each one, but then I also need to get my lighter shade of brushes as well. So give me a second to switch all of those out. Okay. So, passion fruit, cot, aquamarine. I do have a very light hand when I'm blending. When I am blending, I have a pretty light hand. So keep that in mind, friends. Okay. And I'm also, those were all our pastel colors. Those were all the pastel, the lightest colors in those color families. So they're lighter tones in general as well. So now we have moved on to detail layers. These will get a little bit easier because I already know what color is underneath it. And I basically just have to blend to the top. So we are moving up to aquamarine. And I'm just going to blend it in. I blend a little deeper at the base and then let it be a little bit lighter as we move. Okay. And I think this guy is also blue. All right. So let's move on up to apricot. And we're going to color half of this flower with the apricot. The other half will be coral reef. Get in there with that guy. This guy is going to be half apricot. And then I think just a little apricot right there. These small brushes really help you get in the little nooks and crannies because of these little small details, which I really love. So finally, we're moving on to passion fruit. And I've got the little bit of passion fruit that needs to go in here. And a little bit just on the edge. And then this whole flower here. That one got a little, but that's okay. Well, it will calm down as it dries. And there we have, man, aren't they coming together? Aren't they just coming to life? I'm loving this. So we have one more layer, flower details, to get in here. These ones are always, for me, the hardest ones to figure out where they line up. Basically, you just want to make sure you get them inside of the flowers. That's all that really matters. You just don't want them outside. All right, I'm feeling pretty good about that line up there. Thanks, Sherry. I am being a little wild today, aren't I? Sharon, our inks are dye-based inks. So just to answer your question there. All right, so this guy, starting in here with some apricot. And then I do have a little more apricot that needs to go in down here. And I think everything else on here will be passion fruit. So let's go ahead and passion fruit blended. And then we're going to be moving on to the greenery. And then we are done with my wild flowers for the day. Okay, I will clean my stencils off when we end the live stream. And the way that I clean my stencils is just by spritzing each one with a few squirts of rubbing alcohol and then wiping them dry. The thing that I love most about that is you get to, they clean up, it gets the ink residue off really well, then they are dry immediately as well. So let me get these out of here. I got to do a little bit of cleanup because I want to get the ink cleaned up off my glass mat. So bear with me for a second while I transition out to the greens here. So we're going to be doing olive and evergreen for these ones, but need one at a time. And I'm going to start with olive. So let's go ahead and get these guys lined up. Now we have some things on here that we don't. Oh, and I realized I totally missed that flower. So I'll grab that here in a second and do it. Let me do that really quickly. That will be coral reef. So let me just get that away quick. Well, I'm thinking about it. Get in there. All right. Got that last little flower taken care of. Totally missed it the first time. All right, let me grab my green brushes real quick. And this way. All right, olive, oops, switch those around. Olive and evergreen. I may need to do a little masking. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grab some pieces of tape and I'll probably mask as I go because I don't want to get green in these lovely flowers that I have ink blended. So I'm probably just going to do masking as I go. So we'll start with one flower and just move our way down. So I've got my initial ones masked off. I'm not too worried about this guy here. Did I miss another flower? I thought I got them all. I think I have them all. Yeah, if I get to one and I've missed it, we'll get in there and I'll sit. Let's go ahead and get our green. Okay. Up in here and then here. Okay. So now let's move some of our masking down here. So we've got this guy. And I think I'm going to have to make that a little thinner. So here's what I'll do. I will just cut a thin little piece. Hopefully that's not too thin. Might be too thin. And I'll just be real careful. Now you wouldn't have to worry about this if you hadn't made your flowers all multi-color. You know what? I think I'm fine. These little tiny brushes really help make sure that I don't get green where I don't want it. I feel like I'm masking just to be really safe. So now you can make these stencils as simple or as complicated as you want. I've made them a little more complicated today because I went with a multicolor. But we like to show you guys all of the different ways you can do them. You could definitely very easily just keep these single toned, and then you don't have as much worry about masking and such. Okay, so it was mostly those guys at the front or at the top that were a little harder because they had more working pieces in them to work around. These guys have been super easy to get the green ink blended without getting any green in those flowers. Feeling good about that. Let's get my mess of Post-it tape off here. Glad you guys are liking how this is coming out. We're down to our final stencil here, friends. We've got our initial bit of greenery in there. So we are going to switch these two around. We're moving on to evergreen. I feel like there might be some flower details in this one too, now that I'm looking a little closer. So we're going to start with greenery. However, and then where there's flower details, I'll come in and I'll work on those. Okay. So I feel like this one's actually going to be really easy to ink blend without doing any masking. Thank you guys. Glad you enjoyed watching the process. I know that this one is a lot of ink blending, and I knew that it would be a lot of ink blending because I was using Oh, more hill. Because I was planning on using all of these different colors. So I got prepped for that. I've done all of the layer die cutting for my cards, so we don't have to worry about that, because I knew that there was going to be a bit of ink blending. But I really wanted to show you guys how fun and how different you can make these stencils, or the stamps and stencils from the washi. Okay. Let's see. Some greenery here. And this one is real easy with the small brushes too. It is coming down out my window. And so, like I was saying, these ones are actually really easy with the small brushes to get into that greenery. Okay. So these small guys are just fantastic for that. I think if you grab them, you will definitely love them for the whole getting into small space, and also just having a little more control over where your is going. So you don't have to mask much. I'm gonna grab the aquamarine, the apricot, and the passion fruit, because we do have some flower details to finish in here. So let's just do those real quick. They're real small areas, so they're not going to take very long. But, let's finish this card off right. I'm going to start with passion fruit. So let's get that little detail in there. Okay. Oop, that little green, yuck. Right there. Top of this guy. And here. Okay. Get in here with some apricot. Oops, let's get that off a little. There we go. These ones are the 1/2 inch brushes, and then we also have our 1/4 inch brushes as well. I think our 1/4 inch, we're still waiting on a restock to come in. So your best bet on those guys is to sign up for a restock notification, and then you'll be notified right when they come in. I don't think there's too much blue here. Oh, I missed one. Fruit area. All right, I think we are officially done stenciling. So let's close these up so I don't dip my hand in them. Let's take a look at the finished result. Look at how fresh and fun and exciting those turned out. I just love them. Now they're a bit vibrant right now, but as the dye ink dyes the cardstock, essentially, they'll smooth out, they'll get creamy, they'll lighten just a little bit, and they'll just be this lovely spring mix of tuberose flowers, which I'd never heard that flower name before we came out with this collection. Okay, I got to do just a little bit of cleanup over here, friends. Just because I've stuff everywhere. So I am going to put brushes away real quick. So just bear with me while I do that, so that I don't have as big of a mess to clean up when we end today. All right. So over here, and good measure, I am just going to clean my desk. I've got a lot of ink on it. So, if you guys are asking about how to clean our brushes, you can easily clean them with warm soapy water with a gentle soap like Dawn. But when you are letting them dry, make sure you dry them this way. You don't want water to get down in here. So you want to dry them upside down. So you probably want to prop them up against something. Maybe you have a little rack, something along those lines. But easy to wash, just make sure you dry them properly. Okay, let's get these guys die cut and we will start working on assembling our card. Actually, hold on. Let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment first because that has to be die cut as well. So then we can do all of the die cutting at once. So I'm going to grab my Misty. I am going to see if I can fit the stamp down in here. And then it will just be easy to, there's a magnet under there. So I'm just going to stamp it in some detail black ink. I am going to use think of this as a hug sentiment from the same Tuberose stamp set. Grab that. And I think if I angle it down in there, it'll fit just fine. I just want to make sure I'm not too close to anything. So I've got to be able to die cut around it. Okay. And we're going to use detail black. This. Okay. And I'm just going to stamp this a couple times because I like to stamp sentiments lightly so that they retain their daintiness. Okay, maybe that I think should be good. Perfect. There we go. Oh, thank you, Sherry. I am pretty organized. I mean, I still don't trust me. After I end these lives, I still have a pretty huge mess on my hands. So, but I try to keep as organized as I go so it's not as big of a mess. Yeah, let's get that. Now we can do our die cutting. So I have everything done that needs to get die cut. So I'm going to grab my extended plates here. This is our extended plate hack for Gemini Junior. Keep in mind, I don't have a warranty on my Gemini Junior any longer. So using non-Gemini products is not a huge issue to me. But if you do have a warranty still on your machine, then I would proceed with caution. But we found out from another crafting friend that if you use 3 the Sizzix Big Shot extended plates, just a paper shim, I'm just using a 100-pound paper shim in it. It equates to the thickness of a Gemini Junior sandwich. And then you have extended plates for running these bigger dies through your machine. So just a fun little hack that we've learned in the past year or so. Really was very advantageous for us Gemini Junior users. And I can see that this die got a little off. So just want to take a little time to line up these dies. They're just a little bit bigger. But the great thing about it is one swoop through your die cut machine and you have all of these flowers. I don't know. Oh yeah, it will fit. Perfect. I can also die cut the sentiment out at the same time because it doesn't obstruct the floral die. So hey, saving time all around here. It is a good hack, I agree. Let's take down the overkill on tape, but that's okay. Make sure that this looks good. I feel like that got a little off, so I just want to fix that one more time. There we go. All right, I will be right back. I'm going to run this through my machine real quick. Janine, I would say that these extended plates haven't warped like at all. They're, I've been using these for probably over a year now, or close to a year. And they're not warped at all. So this is the sandwich. It's 3 Sizzix extended big shot plates, and then just a paper shim in between one of them. And that has worked perfectly for using with my Gemini Junior. And that stuck down well. Okay. So there is the florals. Those popped out. And then get my sentiment out of here as well. Okay. Let's go ahead and set these aside. And then look at how easily all of our flower pieces cut out. I just love it. I'm a big fan of one-piece dies. I think they're like one of the best things ever. I love not having to tape down individual dies. I like taking the little bit of extra time to cut down just the one die and then getting them all cut at once. So we have a couple of flowers that have some chads that need to get poked out. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done real quick before we start assembling. I think Sentiment has one too. All right, so there are a couple of things that I pre-die cut just for the sake of time. So I went ahead and cut a gold glitter frame from our mini Slimline stitched scallop rectangle. And then I cut a panel with the mini Slimline size die from our blanket stitched Slimline and mini Slimline die set. So all of the products are linked in the video description, but I just wanted to show you for reference what of those elements I pre-die cut. And then I have 2 card bases. I think I'm pretty sold on blue. But I'm not completely sure yet. I just feel like there's less blue in all of the flowers. So I feel like that will really help the blue shine through. Yeah, I think the orange would just be a little too much. So I'll save that for another day. We're definitely going to use the blue. I missed a Chad. Someone is saying I missed a flower, but I don't see a flower that I missed anywhere. They all look colored into me. So, yeah, they all have color. So maybe you meant I missed a Chad because I did miss a Chad. There. All right. So my ink, or not my ink, my glue is, I need to refill it. I'm just trying to get it all used up so I just have this thing about not putting new into old. So I'm trying to use it as much as I can before I refill it here. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and adhere the panel down directly to the card base. Thanks, Vicki. And unfortunately, I don't ever know cardstock colors, so I can't tell you. I think that this one might be from Michael's. They've got like those 110-pound packs with 4 shades in them, and I think that might be where this one is from. But I put my cardstock in rainbow color, rainbow order. So I very rarely, I've got a few that are done by brand, but I very rarely know who the cardstock is by. Now this is driving me a little crazy, so I'm hoping that if I tape this, it will stay in place. Okay. Well, let's see here. So we've got that guy. So I know that, and I also know that the sentiment is going to kind of hug in here. I'm trying to think, I don't know that I have time, so I might just pop this up with some extra with some foam tape. I would rather cut a few additional layers. We'll see. Maybe I'll just do it. But we'll see here. So I think I know I'm gonna have to trim some stuff, so that's why I am trying to place some things first. And this way, I think we're gonna angle a little more, like that. And kind of do that. And I'm trying to get some, for sure have the blue in it so that the blue is represented. I don't know that I love that one. No. Actually, I think I like to do better now that I'm seeing it. And we're just kind of making a little flower garden. And I think that's maybe kind of excessive. So we'll spread these out. And I think that is going to be our placement today. So let's see here. I'm going to have to trim some stems off. So I think what I'm going to do here is we're going to take that off, and we're actually going to take the foam tape off of the bottom. And the placement that I was doing, we're going to kind of stick it to that foam tape so it stays in place, and I'll know where I need to trim it. So guys, I'm glad you're enjoying my arrangement. I want to make sure it doesn't stick too far off the card here. So kind of move this guy in a little further, like that. And then I think this guy will bling in flowers over here. Right. And this guy, maybe I'll tuck it behind. There we go. Make sure I still have room for that sentiment. I sure do. Okay, so by doing it this way, this allowed me to kind of stick it to the back of that foam. So now it's a little easier for me to know where I need to trim it off. So I can go ahead and start doing just a little trim. Yeah. Just get that little excess stuff off because I don't want it to peek below. Like that. Go in the garbage there. And I think this guy will be fine because it's just going to kind of tuck in behind those flowers. So while I have a little bit more malleability, I'm going to just fluff the flowers up a little bit. And now with everything in place, I am going to, I'm going to take the rest of the release paper off. That's important. Never going to stick if you still have the release paper on it. Goodness gracious. Yeah. Oh, thank you guys. Okay, there we go. And let's now get this stuck properly. All right, and then let's give this guy a little floof, and we'll just put some liquid glue on the stem. And we're just gonna tuck it down in here. Like that. And then for the sentiment, let's see, this guy's just going to go up here like this. I'll just go ahead and add some foam tape to the back of it this time around. Maybe you could, Vicki. Normally I would like to stack, but for the sake of time, we'll just go ahead and use some foam tape to get this guy popped up. I might go and I might add off camera. I might add a few layers and just maybe restamp another layer to go on this. So if it seems a little different when I take the photo, if the sentiment seems a little thicker, that's probably what I probably just went and added a couple of paper layers to it. Okay. Because we're gonna go a little tiny bit over time anyway. And if I did the additional die cutting, it would be quite a bit over time. So I'm glad you enjoy learning some new techniques. Okay. Oh, sticking to me. There we go. The sentiment tucked in there. I love this sentiment. Think of this as a hug. I think that's just the sweetest thing ever. All right, so let's get some jewels on this and I can let you guys go. All right, so you know I mean business when I have 3 trays out, right? So basically I just had 3 colors that I wanted to use today. I wanted to use the Aqua glitter drops, and then our jewels and Peach Fuzz, and this one's Ballet slipper, I believe. All right. Should be plenty. Okay. Grab our fun little tool here. This is not released yet, but it will be very soon. I think it's going to be in our April release. So let's do a little. We're just going to do a couple little trios on this card because there's already quite a bit going on it. So I'm just going to do a couple of nice little trios. Oh, I meant to do a little bit bigger on the Peach Fuzz. You know what? I think I need to do the bigger guy. Oh, come on. Okay. You know what? I don't like that. All right. Yeah, I just want that to kind of sneak in underneath there. Oh, that's funny, Diane. I think I might switch this one around a little bit. So I think I want to sneak that guy under there. Like under this guy. There we go. I like that a little bit better. Okay. Let's get these guys glued down. And we are done. Let go. All right, this guy I need to move up just a tad there. Yeah, it's definitely not spring here yet. In Minnesota, it will be. I think this weekend we're actually going to be in the 60s, which is a huge difference from where we have been. So that is practically warm and balmy for Minnesotans at the beginning of spring. So there is my card, and there you can see the lovely gold heat embossing. It looks like greenery has announced the winner. I'll say it here in just a moment. Let me get my camera flipped around. Okay, flip back up here. All right, so congratulations to, I'll find it again. Creative Tracy, you've won today's $15 gift card code. To claim your prize, just send an email to me. My email is leah@pinkfreshstudio.com. There's no H on the end of my name, so it's just LEA@pinkfreshstudio.com. Give me about 2 to 3 business days to get back to you. All right, friends, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's card. Jean, I'm in Minneapolis currently. We're moving back to Montana at some point, hopefully this year. But currently I am in Minneapolis. So thank you all for joining me today. I hope you guys enjoyed my fresh springy card. I really enjoyed creating it. I love the colors. I'm actually really thrilled with how the colors turned out. So thanks for bearing with me while we went through all of that ink blending, because I know it was a good portion of our time. So don't forget to join us on Thursday for our scrapbooking live with Natalie. Same time, same place, 12 noon here on YouTube on Thursday. She's going to be using our Rainbow Daisies washi tape. So we hope you'll join us for that. Than that, you guys have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.